The alien professor Zara watched the new human student with interest. She had never taught a Terran before, and this specimen looked so fragile compared to the other galactic species in her xenobiology class. Zara stood tall, her blue skin shimmering. Under the classroom lights, her 4 eyes blinking in sequence as she observed the small human female sitting alone at the back of the amphitheater. The human called herself Olivia, and unlike the tentacled Juvians or the scaled Draxians, she had no obvious defenses, no claws, no enhanced strength. According to the records, humans were among the weakest spacefaring species in the known universe. Interesting, Zara thought this would make an excellent demonstration for her famous lesson on evolutionary disadvantages. Today, class, we will examine species that have overcome significant biological limitations. Zara announced, her voice translator making her words understandable to all 20 different species present. She gestured toward Olivia with one of her forearms. Please welcome our new exchange student from the recently discovered planet Earth. Olivia smiled nervously as 30 sets of eyes, some clustered in groups of 8, some singular and glowing, turned to stare at her. She had only arrived at the Galactic University last week, the first human granted a scholarship after first contact just 5 years ago. Professor Zara displayed a biological scan of human anatomy on the large view screen, pointing out what she considered obvious flaws: no protective exoskeleton, minimal muscle density compared to other species, slow reproductive cycle, limited sensory perception, and most importantly, no natural weapons. The human species represents an evolutionary puzzle. Zara explained, they achieved spaceflight despite these severe limitations. Today, we will explore how such a disadvantaged species could possibly advance beyond their planetary boundaries. Olivia felt her face grow warm. She had expected some curiosity about humans, but not to become a living specimen for study. The alien students murmured among themselves, some making gestures that seemed like pity. Others, something closer to disgust. Professor Zara continued, now, we will examine the psychological profile of humans. They appear to have unusual emotional responses, particularly fear. Their threat assessment abilities seem primitive compared to the Catherians, for example. Excuse me. Olivia finally spoke up, her voice small in the large room, but surprisingly steady. The entire class fell silent. Not expecting the specimen to interrupt, his human student Zara acknowledged with slight annoyance. I believe your assessment contains several errors, Olivia said, standing up from her seat. She had been warned about potential misunderstandings, but this felt beyond misunderstanding. It felt like prejudice errors. Zara repeated, her upper eyes narrowing, while her lower ones widened, a sign of surprise in her species. Our Galactic Xenobiology Department has studied your kind extensively since contact. With respect, Professor Olivia continued, walking down to the main floor where Zara stood. You have fundamental misunderstandings about humans and Earth. The classroom erupted in low murmurs. The students had never seen anyone challenge Professor Zara, especially not a member of an unestablished species. Olivia took a deep breath and continued, when you say we lack natural weapons, you fail to recognize that humans evolved as persistence hunters. We can outendure almost any creature through thermoregulation and biomechanical efficiency. Professor Zara blinked rapidly, her species' way of expressing skepticism. Persistence. Hunting seems inefficient compared to natural weapons. Olivia smiled. This is where your understanding of Earth fails. Humans evolved on a planet with incredible biodiversity and environmental challenges. We had to adapt differently than species from more homogeneous world. So Olivia turned to the view screen where her human anatomy still displayed. May I, Professor? She asked. Gesturing to the control panel, reluctantly, Zara stepped aside. Olivia accessed the galactic database and pulled up images of Earth sports: distance runners, marathoners, swimmers, mountain climbers. These activities seem recreational to you, she explained, but they demonstrate our evolutionary advantages. Humans can run dozens of miles without stopping. We can regulate our body temperature through sweating, something most species cannot do. We can throw objects with precision. We can swim, climb, and adapt to almost any environment from Arctic to desert. The alien students leaned forward, now genuinely interested, but more importantly, Olivia continued, bringing up new images. Earth has over 8 million species we evolved alongside. predators many times our size, yet we became the dominant species not through claws or armor, but through this. She pointed to her head. Intelligence, Zara said dismissively. Many species have developed intelligence, collaborative intelligence. Olivia corrected cooperation and social structures that allow us to solve problems together, while maintaining individual creativity. Humans work in groups, but think independently. That combination is rare in the galaxy, according to your own research, Olivia. Accessed more files, bringing up human art, architecture, music, and literature. Earth has more cultural diversity than many entire star systems. She explained, we speak thousands of languages. We have countless belief systems and perspectives. This diversity creates resilience and adaptability. Zara seemed unsettled, her forearms crossing defensively. Yet human technology seems primitive compared to older spacefaring civilizations. Olivia nodded. That is true, but consider our pace of development. We went from first flight to landing on our moon in 66 years, from discovery of radiation to nuclear power in 50, from basic computing to artificial intelligence in less than a century. Our adaptability is our strength, not our weakness. The classroom had fallen completely silent now. Olivia continued accessing more files from Earth history. Humans have survived ice ages, plagues, natural disasters, and our own mistakes. We rebuilt. We adapted. We evolved socially and technologically without changing biologically. And Professor Shi added, our emotional responses that you dismiss as primitive are actually sophisticated survival mechanisms. Empathy allows us to understand others. Fear helps us survive. Creativity lets us imagine new solutions. Professor Zara stood quietly for a moment, reassessing the human before her. I believe, student Olivia, that you have just demonstrated another human trait. She finally said, her voice softer, a challenge to authority. Olivia smiled slightly. It is called standing up for yourself, Professor. Another survival trait we developed living on a planet where almost everything was once bigger and stronger than us. Zara made a gesture that Olivia had learned meant acknowledgement. Perhaps, she said, we should reconsider our classification of your species for the next hour. Olivia showed the class Earth history, human achievements, and the complex ecology of her home planet. The alien students asked questions with growing enthusiasm. When Olivia finished her impromptu lecture, Professor Zara approached. Your demonstration was most illuminating, student Olivia. I believe I must revise my lesson plan considerably. Olivia nodded gratefully. I would be happy to help you understand more about Earth and humans later that evening. Olivia returned to her dormitory where her roommate Amelia, another human exchange student, waited eagerly. How was your first day at xenobiology? Amelia asked, looking up from her studies of alien languages. Olivia smiled, thinking about how the class had transformed from pitying her to being fascinated by human resilience. I taught the teacher, she said simply. Amelia laughed. That sounds like you always defending Earth even when no one asked you to. Olivia sat on her bed, her mind still processing the events of the day. It wasn't just about defending Earth, she explained. It was about making them understand us if we're going to join the galactic community. We need them to see us as equals, not as curiosities. Amelia nodded, her expression turning serious. Did you hear about the Galactic Council vote? Some species are pushing to limit human expansion. They think we're too unpredictable. Olivia frowned. I didn't know that. Professor Zara mentioned nothing about it. The news just broke today, Amelia explained, pulling up a holographic news feed. The Zorbanites and the Hrul Confederation both filed formal concerns about humans having access to advanced technology. They cited our history of conflict. The news showed alien delegates in formal council chambers discussing humanity in terms that made Olivia uncomfortable. Words like primitive, violent, unpredictable, and dangerous were being translated across the bottom of the projection. This is exactly the problem, Olivia said, gesturing at the feed. They judge us without understanding us. They see our conflicts but miss the context of our growth. Amelia sighed. What can we do? We're just students. Olivia thought of Professor Zara and how her perspective had changed when presented with the right information. Maybe, she began slowly, we need more aliens to understand humans the way Professor Zara is beginning to. The next day, Olivia arrived at xenobiology class early. Professor Zara was already there arranging specimens for the day's lesson. Professor Olivia said, approaching. Cautiously, I saw the news about the Galactic Council vote all. 4 of Zara's eyes focused on her. Yes, the debate about human integration has become rather heated. I was planning to discuss it today. Are you against us? Olivia asked directly. Zara made a complex gesture with her upper arms that her translator didn't capture. I admit, the professor said honestly, but your presentation yesterday has caused me to reconsider many assumptions. Olivia felt hope rising. Is there anything I can do to help with the council? Professor Zara tilted her head in consideration. Perhaps there is. The council has requested expert testimony on human behavior and potential. I could recommend you as a representative. Me, Olivia asked. Surprised, but I'm just a student. Precisely, Zara replied. You are young, adaptable, and clearly capable of explaining human perspectives. You would be an excellent bridge between our civilizations. Olivia felt the weight of responsibility settling on her shoulders. When would this happen? In 3 days, Zara answered the council. Moves quickly on security matters. If humans are classified as a potential threat, your species could face significant restrictions. Olivia nodded slowly. I'll do it, she said, knowing she had little choice. The future of human integration into galactic society might depend on it. Over the next 3 days, Olivia worked with Professor Zara preparing her testimony. They gathered evidence of human cooperation, peaceful transitions, scientific ethics, and cultural achievements. They also addressed humanity's darker history. The wars, the environmental damage, the social conflicts. You must not hide your species' flaws. Zara advised that would only confirm suspicions of deception. Instead, show how humans learn from mistakes, how you evolve socially. Amelia helped too, gathering supportive statements from other alien professors who had positive experiences with the few humans at the university. On the day of the council hearing, Olivia stood before the assembled representatives of 50 spacefaring civilizations. The chamber was massive, with delegates seated on hovering platforms arranged in concentric circles. She felt incredibly small in her formal human attire, while Professor Zara stood beside her as her sponsor. The council elder, a massive crystalline entity named Elder Vex, spoke first. We convened to assess the human species' potential for full galactic integration. The Zorbonite Confederation has raised concerns about the species' unpredictable nature and violent history. Representative Mork will present their case. Mork, a tall insectoid alien with compound eyes and chitinous armor, stepped forward, his translator projecting his buzzing speech into the common language. Humans represent an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. He began. For the next hour, Mork presented evidence of human warfare, environmental destruction, social inequality, and technological weapons. He showed images from Earth history, world wars, genocides, nuclear bombs, and environmental catastrophes. By the time he finished, Olivia felt sick. Seeing her species' worst moments displayed for alien judgment, Representative Mork has shown the humans' destructive potential, Elder Vex stated. Now we will hear from Professor Zara of the Galactic University, who has requested to present an alternative perspective with her human student. Professor Zara stepped forward. Esteemed council members, I have spent the past month studying human biology, psychology, and history. I initially shared Representative Mork's concerns about this species. However, after direct observation and research, I believe the perspective presented is incomplete. She gestured to Olivia, who stepped forward nervously. This is student Olivia from Earth. She will present additional context for your consideration. Olivia took a deep breath and began. Respected council, I acknowledge everything Representative Mork has shown you is real. These are the darkest chapters of human history, and we do not deny them. She paused, making eye contact with as many council members as she could, but they are not the complete story of humanity. She activated the display system, showing new images alongside the ones Mork had presented next to images of war. She showed peace treaties next to environmental destruction. She showed conservation efforts next to weapons. She showed medical breakthroughs. Humans are not unique in having conflict. She continued. The historical records show that most spacefaring species experience similar developmental stages. The difference is that we are meeting you while still in our adolescence. As a species, most of you encountered galactic civilization. Thousands of years after resolving your internal conflicts, murmurs spread through the council chambers, some agreeing, some objecting. What makes humans valuable to the galactic community? Olivia continued, is precisely our recent emergence we represent. Fresh perspectives, we question assumptions, we innovate rapidly. We adapt to new situations. These qualities complement the wisdom and stability your ancient civilizations provides. He displayed more images, human art alongside alien creations. Human, children learning alongside alien young human and alien scientists working together. Representative Mork hissed loudly. This emotional appeal ignores the fundamental danger humans represent. Their unpredictability makes them unsuitable for advanced technology. Olivia faced him directly with respect. Representative, our unpredictability, as you call it, is actually our greatest strength in science, innovation, art, and problem solving. Our diverse perspectives allow us to find solutions. Others might miss. She turned back to the council. I would like to propose an experiment that demonstrates this quality. Elder Vex's crystal surface shimmered with interest. Proceed. Olivia nodded to Professor Zara, who activated a holographic puzzle in the center of the chamber. This is the Draxian symmetry problem, she explained. It has remained unsolved for 300 years. Despite the efforts of the galaxy's greatest mathematical minds, the complex three-dimensional puzzle rotated slowly, its asymmetrical patterns shifting in ways that seem to defy logical solution. This puzzle was given to 100 students at the Galactic University. Zara continued. 95 alien students from various species and 5 humans. We recorded their approach and results. The data appeared beside the puzzle. The alien students all attempted similar methodologies based on established mathematical principles. All failed. The human students tried 5 completely different approaches. 3 failed, but 2 found solutions by applying entirely unorthodox methods. The council chamber erupted in surprised chatter. This is what humans offer, Olivia said as the noise subsided. We don't think like you. We don't approach problems the same way our chaotic evolution on a highly diverse planet with millions of species and thousands of cultures created minds that make unexpected connection. Elder Vex's crystal form glowed brightly. Representative Mork. Do you have a response? The insectoid alien clicked his mandibles. In agitation, this merely proves my point. They are unpredictable. Exactly, Olivia replied. And in an ever-changing galaxy, unpredictability controlled by ethics and cooperation is an asset, not a liability. The council deliberated for hours while Olivia and Professor Zara waited in an antechamber. Olivia paced nervously, while Zara remained perfectly still in the meditation pose of her species. Do you think we convinced them? Olivia finally asked, breaking the silence. Zara opened her lower set of eyes, keeping the upper set closed. I cannot predict the council's decision, but you presented your case well. You showed them humanity, as it truly is. Both the darkness and the light. Olivia sat down beside her. Alien mentor, I never expected to represent my entire species when I came here. I just wanted to learn. Zara made a gentle humming sound that her species used to indicate. Understanding most significant roles are not chosen but thrust upon us. It is how we respond that defines us. Before Olivia could respond, a council page entered the chamber. The council has reached a decision. You are summoned. They returned to the Grand Council chamber where Elder Vex now hovered at the center of the space, the crystalline being pulsed with inner light as it spoke. We have deliberated on the matter of human integration into the galactic community. The chamber fell completely silent. We find ourselves at an unprecedented crossroads. Elder Vex continued. In our 10,000-year history, we have never encountered a species at this particular developmental stage, showing both significant risk factors and remarkable potential. Olivia held her breath. The council has decided by majority vote that humans will be granted probationary membership in the galactic community, with 3 conditions. First, technology transfer will be monitored, and gradual. Second, a cultural exchange program will be established to foster greater understanding between humans and other species. Third, humans will not be permitted to develop independent military capacity beyond their solar system for a period of 50 standard years. Olivia felt both relief and concern. The conditions were restrictive, but not as severe as they could have been. Representative Mork stepped forward, vibrating with obvious agitation. I formally protest this decision. The humans should be quarantined until they have demonstrated at least 500 years of peaceful development, Elder. Feck's crystal body shimmered. Your protest is noted, Representative Mork. But the council has spoken. The humans will be given an opportunity to prove themselves. Olivia turned to Professor Zara. Is this a good outcome? She whispered. Zara made the gesture. For qualified affirmation, it is better than many expected. The council rarely moves this quickly to integrate a new species. You should be proud. After the council session ended, Olivia and Professor Zara were approached by several alien delegates. Some curious, some still clearly suspicious. One delegate, a floating gas bag creature with tentacles dangling beneath it, approached them directly. I am Ambassador Plex of the Thuvian Collective. The alien said through its translator. I voted in favor of human integration despite significant concerns within my species. Olivia bowed slightly in the manner she had learned was respectful. Thank you, Ambassador. May I ask why you supported us? The ambassador pulsated gently, creating patterns of light. Across its semi-transparent surface, I have been monitoring Earth transmissions for years, what you call television movies, music, literature. I find your species' imagination fascinating. You create stories about the future, about other worlds, about possibilities. No other species creates fiction with such diversity. Olivia smiled. That's part of our adaptability. We imagine what could be before we create it. Exactly. Ambassador Plex replied, that is why I believe humans belong in galactic society. You see possibilities where others see only what is. I particularly enjoy your Star Trek. Though the physics are quite impossible, Olivia laughed with relief, finding unexpected common ground with the alien diplomat. Over the next few days, news of the council's decision spread across the university. Olivia found herself suddenly popular with alien students who wanted to learn more about humans. Professor Zara's xenobiology class doubled in size. As students requested transfers, Professor Zara developed a new course, Human Integration Studies, and asked Olivia to serve as her teaching assistant. The university administration fast-tracked the cultural exchange program. Bringing 50 more human students to campus within months, Olivia helped them adjust, sharing what she had learned about alien cultures and customs. One evening, as Olivia was preparing materials for the next days, class Professor Zara entered her study area. Student Olivia. I have news. Zara said, all four eyes blinking in sequence. The university has been selected as the primary site for the Human Cultural Exchange Program. We will be receiving 200 more human students next semester. Olivia looked up surprised, but pleased. That is wonderful. There is more. Zara continued, the Galactic Council has requested that I lead a delegation to Earth to establish the first permanent alien embassy there. They have asked that you accompany me as cultural liaison. Olivia dropped the datapad she was holding. You want me to go back to Earth as part of the first alien delegation? Professor Zara made an affirmative gesture. The embassy will be established in a place called Geneva, Switzerland. We will represent 20 species initially, with more joining as diplomatic relations develop. Your role would be to help us understand human customs and help humans understand use. Olivia felt overwhelmed by the opportunity and responsibility. Is this because of the council hearing? Partially, Zara admitted. You demonstrated an unusual ability to communicate across species barriers. To explain humanity in terms other species can understand, that is a rare talent. Olivia took a deep breath. When do we leave? In 2 weeks. Zara replied. The council believes swift action is needed to establish relations before human governments fragment in their approach to alien contact. In the days that followed, Olivia worked frantically with Professor Zara, preparing diplomatic briefings on human customs, government structures, and potential cultural misunderstandings. Amelia helped organizing data on Earth nations and translating important human documents into formats the aliens could process. The night before their departure, Olivia stood at the viewport in her quarters, looking out at the unfamiliar stars. She had been away from Earth for nearly a year now. She wondered how it would feel to return as part of an alien delegation. Amelia joined her at the window, bringing 2 cups of synthesized coffee. The closest thing to Earth beverages available? Nervous, she asked, terrified. Olivia admitted, I keep thinking about everything that could go wrong. One misunderstanding, one cultural offense could damage relations between humanity and the galaxy. Amelia put a hand on her shoulder. Remember what you told Professor Zara that first day? Humans adapt, we overcome challenges, this is just one more challenge. Olivia smiled gratefully. Besides, Amelia added as the first human to talk back to a galactic professor, you've already made history. This is just the next step. The following morning, Olivia boarded the diplomatic vessel with Professor Zara and representatives from 19 other species. The ship was massive, designed to accommodate beings of vastly different sizes, atmospheres, and gravitational needs. Olivia's quarters were in the human-compatible section alongside the few other oxygen breathers. The journey to Earth took 3 days, during which Olivia conducted daily briefings on human behavior. She explained concepts like personal space humor, metaphor, and the importance of nonverbal communication. Some concepts translated easily, others, like human music and art, required extensive explanation. As they approached Earth, the diplomatic vessel was met by human spacecraft. Olivia watched from the observation deck as the small Earthships escorted them into orbit. She felt a surge of pride seeing how far her species had come in such a short time. Professor Zara joined her at the viewport, her forearms making a formal gesture of respect. "Your world is beautiful," she said, gazing down at the blue and green planet swirled with white clouds. "Thank you," Olivia replied. "It's not perfect, but it's home." Zara's upper eyes blinked in sequence while her lower ones remained fixed on Earth. "Perfection is overrated," she said. "Evolution values adaptation, not perfection. Your species understands that better than most." When they landed in Geneva, a massive crowd had gathered, human officials, alien diplomats, and thousands of ordinary people, all eager to witness this historic moment. Olivia stepped off the ship alongside Professor Zara, the bright Earth sunlight making the aliens' blue skin shimmer. The crowd gasped at the sight of the procession of alien beings. Some humanoid, some utterly bizarre to human eyes. The human secretary, General, stepped forward to greet them. "Welcome to Earth," she said, her voice amplified for the crowd on behalf of humanity. "I extend our friendship to the galactic community. We have much to learn from each other." Professor Zara responded with formal, diplomatic words, but Olivia barely heard them. She was watching the faces in the crowd, some fearful, some excited, all changed forever by this moment. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. In the months that followed, Olivia worked tirelessly at the embassy, helping aliens understand humans and helping humans understand aliens. She translated not just languages, but concepts, cultures, and perspectives. When misunderstandings arose, she bridged the gap. Year after the embassy opened, Olivia stood with Professor Zara at a ceremony celebrating the first anniversary of formal Earth-galactic relations. "You have done well," student Olivia, Zara said. Using her old title for Olivia, though, Olivia now held an official diplomatic rank because of you. The integration of Earth into the galactic community has proceeded decades faster than our models predicted. Olivia smiled. The first year had been challenging but rewarding. "What happens next, Professor?" Zara made a gesture indicating the future. "The Galactic University is establishing a branch on Earth. Thousands of human students will have the opportunity you had to learn among the stars, and thousands of alien students will come to Earth to learn about your world. The exchange of knowledge has only just begun." As if on cue, a group of human children approached the embassy on a school trip, their faces filled with wonder as they saw the alien representatives. Professor Zara watched them with all four eyes. "I believe, Olivia, that these young ones will grow up in a very different galaxy than the one I knew. They will never know a time when humans were not part of our community." Olivia nodded, looking at the children who would inherit this new reality, where humanity was just one of many intelligent species sharing the galaxy. She thought back to that first day in xenobiology class when she had stood up to challenge Professor Zara's assumptions about humans. She could never have imagined where that moment of courage would lead. From being a curiosity, a specimen for study, humans had become partners in the greatest exchange of knowledge in galactic history. And it had all begun with a simple lesson that went wrong when an alien professor underestimated a human student. Olivia smiled at the children as they waved excitedly at the alien diplomats. The universe, she thought, was full of lessons yet to be learned, and humanity was just getting started.